Hello and welcome back to another episode of We're Gonna Need a Bigger Podcast. I'm Sam,
I'm Callum.
And I'm Matt.
and today we're gonna mix it up with a new kind of format, so a little bit more loose. And what are we talking about today? Then I love how you laughed at that.
That's like great start.
Great start, that
I'm childish.
we all are, to be fair.
Yeah. We have to be to bring some youth to it because
You know.
Carl's like so old.
How
Start how you mean to end, isn't it?
You're like 40.
That's a lie. I'm 22.
bringing in the older generation for our podcast. You know, like
Honestly.
yeah. What were we doing? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There
new
was a reason
format.
we're all here.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, we're gonna
Reviewing 2018.
reviewing 2018.
Yeah.
Good year overall.
February.
In February. No. We recorded this months ago.
Yeah, February 2017.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa. It's actually a look forward. Whoa. Yeah, I mean, I think overall, like, games, films, TV, whatever, good year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
was pretty decent.
I mean, a lot of people kind of slate it, saying it was pretty bad for films, but it's been pretty good films last year, man.
Well, some of the best from the last decade, I'd say.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Like,
Arguably.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, there were some bad ones, but
Yeah.
I mean, you get that every year. You know, which one are you trying to do? Films, like talk about films first, and then kind of move
Just
down the
keep it
list?
free flowing.
Keep it free.
Yeah.
Since
flowing.
we're on
I
the
like
topic
it.
of films anyway, and you know the whole argument of there were some bad ones, there were some good ones,
Yeah.
I'm gonna justify what I said about there being some of the best.
Okay.
Avengers.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's on my list.
That's not a doubt,
No.
like at all.
Like,
It's such a great film.
the thing is, you look at it from any point of view, like, it was a good film, and
Mhm.
also it's arguably one of the sort of biggest cultural impacts of the decade.
Oh,
I
Yeah,
think,
absolutely.
definitely.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, the amount of, not just money, but in the amount it's talked about, what it did is, like, unprecedented. Like, you've
Yeah.
literally brought together 10 years worth of films into one, like, big finale.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
I love it. What else did I see? Spider-Man. Speaking of going off, like, superhero
Which
films.
one? As in
No, it was just one last year.
no?
Wasn't it?
You're referring to the film, not the game.
Oh,
Oh,
fair
I
point.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Into the
Because
Spider-Verse.
You have to
I was referring to.
specify here because that was some big stuff there.
Yeah, I do apologize on that one. Yeah. No, Into the Spider-Verse for talking films.
Aye.
Like, that film is by far one of the best animated films I've seen.
Did that win an
Ever.
Oscar this year?
It did.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Just won an Oscar actually. It won Golden Globe as well. So it's
Oh,
pretty much just
that's
like
great,
swept all
yeah.
the awards.
Yeah.
Deservingly so. You know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Fantastic film.
I regret not seeing that in cinema. It sort of passed me by. I feel
Yeah,
like I need to see it.
I kept saying to you, I was like, you need to see.
Yeah.
You were like, I'm not. And I was like, no.
Funnily enough, they are doing a limited cinema showing, I believe, this weekend.
Ooh.
I don't know if it's because of the accolade it's received. They're putting it back in cinema for a bit.
That's
So
great.
Check
it
that
must
out,
have
man.
done really well.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd definitely say check that out. Because I mean,
Absolutely.
it'll be on like Blu-ray soon.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like, you know, it's not going to be as good on. Well, I mean, it'll be as good, but you need that cinema experience for
Fair.
it. You know? What else did I see last year? Quiet Place. Anyone see a Quiet Place?
Do you know
I
what,
did not.
missed that completely.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually,
They're making a sequel, aren't they?
They are. Yeah. It's really, really good in my opinion. Like,
Mm.
I mean, probably the most tense film I've ever watched. You know,
Really?
like
Wow.
honestly now, like so. You know, like when something's really tense, you kind of like hold your breath, or you know, you kind of like tense up, because
Mhm.
the film is like so quiet. But like it genuinely is. So you feel like you can't make noise in the cinema. Like I remember
Yeah.
my mate came in with me and he brought popcorn and he like just wouldn't open the bag at all through the whole film, and he just still had a full bag of popcorn.
Yeah.
And I was like, why didn't you eat your popcorn? He was like, I didn't want to make any noise. And the amount of people that were in that cinema just not making any kind of noise, purely because they felt like you were so engaged with the film that you honestly didn't want to like move, because you were
Yeah.
like, shit, I'm gonna disturb something. You know, it's crazy. Like
Yeah.
I've never kind of experienced a film like that.
Yeah,
It's really-
supposedly in America, like quite a few screenings, they stopped you from taking things in like at all.
Oh,
You couldn't
really?
take any
Wow.
food, any drink, because they wanted to like immerse you deeply into this
Yeah.
film. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
reckon
really
they should have
cool.
given that a try here though. Like in
Yeah.
the UK, that'd been quite interesting.
I always find that like stuff like that, you know, when they have special, like always remember The Conjuring. There was a
Yeah.
big thing that they were stopping people going in without like seeing a priest or stuff like that, or people were coming out saying they'd been possessed and shit like that. And like you never see it here. It's always America, and I feel
Yeah.
like you know, I'm not gonna like say anything to America, but they are a bit over dramatic.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
bloody Yanks.
Oh, no.
Bloody Yanks.
Oh, no.
That was
Yeah.
Australian. Bloody Yanks.
Bloody Yanks. It was. Called
Right.
me out on that then.
We've offended 2 continents in the span of 10 seconds. Well done, you
Listen,
Hey,
two.
There
that
we
was
go.
that was a compliment to the Australians.
Yeah, that
I'm
was-
sure it
They've got a
was.
good accent.
Yeah, arguably the best. I'd say.
I would agree.
wouldn't
if I-
disagree,
If I,
yeah.
if I could have an actual different accent, I'd go for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Australian would be the one.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
100%. I'd definitely go with
I
that.
hate my voice.
Okay.
Genuinely do. When I listen back to this,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not what I sound like.
Like I hate my voice, and then I've openly like agreed to do a podcast. So
Same,
it's
yeah.
like I've literally like shot
This
myself.
is a
But that's
podcast
the bizarre
founded
thing.
on
When I
hate.
listen to you guys in person and then listen back at this, I'm like, oh no, yeah, that's what they sound like. Then when I listen to myself, I'm like, nah, that's not me.
Do you know exactly the same with me? I've like I listened to it and I was like,
That's not me.
everyone sounds great,
Yeah.
and then I'd hear my voice and I was like, ugh,
It's weird.
it's just awful. Yeah,
I hear my like Welshness in the video.
yeah. No,
And
I
I'm
get
like,
that.
I don't hear that in my voice at all normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
No,
But the reason I didn't watch A Quiet Place though is because
Mhm.
I struggle to take John Krasinski seriously. But
See,
like,
I know, like why. I never watched The Office, so it's pretty much like I don't want to say it's the first thing I've seen him in, but it probably is. I
Yeah.
can't think of
Yeah.
anything that I've seen him in prior to this, so for me it wasn't a problem. I've seen a few people saying that, but once you watch the film, you'll understand. You
Yeah,
know?
'cause, like,
It's-
I saw that he did a Jack Ryan afterwards, and I thought, oh, this looks really tacky. It's like he's
Yeah.
gone back to the tacky role again.
yeah.
But
Apparently that was
Oh.
really good, and I never checked it
Well,
out. But
I never-
apparently it
well,
was. Yeah,
some might say
some might say.
another
yeah.
2018 hit, supposedly.
Yeah. What else is on my list? Black Klansman. Anyone
I
watch Black
did not
Klansman?
see it, no.
Ah man, that honestly, right? So, the film itself is good. It's a
Mm.
great film. Really good acting, really good story, and whatever.
Mhm.
But the ending of that film is one of the most disturbing endings to a film I've ever seen, and has disturbed me to the point where I still think about it now. Like I saw that in October last year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And to this day, I'm like, whenever someone brings up an ending of a film, and I'm like, yeah, Black Klansman.
Wow.
Because it's just so bizarre. Like,
Yeah.
I won't say what the ending is, because it's not like a plot twist or anything like that either.
Mhm.
It's not like, oh, I'll spoil the film. But if you go into that film blind, the ending will, like, disturb you to all hell. But that's the point, you know? Like, you're meant to feel uncomfortable at the end. But it's just a fantastic, like, it's crazy, man. You know, so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the film itself is great, but I feel like the ending just kind of like if the film is good, the ending rises it to just be like great. Surprised it didn't win much more at the Oscars, to be honest.
What did it win? I can't remember.
It won Best Adapted Screenplay,
Mhm.
Right. Okay.
and I'm pretty sure that's it. I think
Oh,
it's the
That's
first.
it.
I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure as well. Don't quote me on it, but I'm 90% sure it's like one of the first Oscars Spike Lee's won, which
Yeah.
I thought was quite bizarre. I was reading the list, but I was like, some of them I was like, surely that can't be
That
true.
can't be right. He's made
Yeah.
quite a few great.
That's
films.
what I mean. I was like, I can't see that being true, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
Although
it is.
there has been quite a bit of like controversy behind like black like people in the film industry not winning much.
Yeah,
at the
that's what I
Oscars.
mean. I was like, it lines up in that sense, but at the same time, it's like he's such a widely regarded filmmaker.
Well, yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
especially in the 90s.
Yeah, 100%. Like, Do the
definitely.
Right Thing, stuff like that. I for some reason in my head, I'm like, Do the Right Thing won Best Picture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I- Don't know if it did.
Hmm.
And like, I'm starting to question everything now. So I'll have to look that up before I kind of make any further comments on that.
Yeah.
But if it is
no,
the
yeah,
first
that's
Oscar,
the
he's won-
only
that's his first Oscar, is it?
first Oscar.
Wow. That's terrible.
I think, yeah.
Like, deserving film. I mean, if
Mhm.
you're ever gonna win an Oscar, because like I bring up before, like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
You know, like he needed an Oscar because
Absolutely.
he's such a
yeah.
great actor.
Oh, definitely.
Didn't think he deserved it for The Revenant.
Yeah. It
Well,
was a great performance, but I feel
yeah.
like there were things sooner he
Oh,
should have got.
100%.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
I'm not taking away from the film's great.
Yeah.
Performance was great. But then when you consider he also got snubbed for Wolf of Wall Street,
Mhm.
which in my opinion is a far better performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I felt like that Oscar was more of a this is an Oscar for your career rather than that
Yeah.
performance. That was always the vibe I got from them.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're not everything. I mean, I've got some like Hugh Jackman. I don't think has ever won an Oscar. Love him as an actor.
Yeah.
Um,
Although Logan is probably his closest to it.
Oh, 100%.
Maybe. Yeah.
He got snubbed for that, I reckon.
Definitely.
Like, considering Black Panther got so much, I think he won 3 or 4 Oscars,
Mhm.
which would be on my list, actually. I loved that film. Thought that was a really good film. Like, not just as a Marvel film, but just a good film in general.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people are kind of like going on it now, like, it didn't deserve to be anywhere near the Oscars. But I'm like, it kind of does. It's culturally, that film is really important.
Yeah.
And as a film, it's great. It's not like it's a terrible film, you know. So I don't know. I don't. But yeah, like that fits into that kind of same thing. It's like Black Panther is what, they got like 3 or 4 Oscars.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it shows that they're not completely against having superhero films,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is like, why didn't Logan get? Because I think Logan was up for definitely something. I can't think what it was though, but it was something really minor, like I don't know, like I think it was best adapted screenplay or something like that. But I was like, you're not gonna win, you know. You're up
Yeah,
for one
definitely, yeah.
category, you're not gonna win that. So yeah,
Wait, Black Panther was 2018, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
February.
Oh.
So it seems like a long time. Well, it was
Yeah,
a year,
It feels like
ago.
ages ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally a year ago.
Yeah.
Although it does surprise me that Avengers didn't get as much credit as it did, though.
Yeah, you know, like speaking of like superhero films at the Oscars, I was shocked that Infinity War. For me personally, I would have put Infinity War
Ahead of Black Panther.
Ahead of Black Panther,
Definitely
yeah.
same, yeah.
like. I get the cultural importance of Black Panther.
Yeah, definitely.
Like a completely bar Martin Freeman, completely black cast, brilliant. And like what it did for how much money it made in that regard.
Cue a black Andy Serkis now. Like-
Yeah. But like I get that, but at the same time, the cultural importance of Infinity War as well, being a film that is literally been building up for 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pop culture
Yeah.
phenomenon compared to a
like
to
a
a
cult.
race- a
Yeah,
racial
I get.
culture
Yeah, so
phenomenon, really,
I
isn't
in
it?
a way I understand like why Black Panther got it, but for me personally, but then again, I guess I you could argue that I wouldn't get that.
Oh yeah, but like
Yeah.
you can't argue that, but at the same time, should you value cultural purposes over the actual filmic
Film
side
itself,
of it?
yeah.
Because
I I suppose like in that sense, that's why it was. I don't think it was ever gonna win.
it does
you know?
make you question whether it was a handout
Yeah,
in a way.
I feel like it was
because of
yeah.
so many complaints,
Yeah,
and they were like, "Oh, this is a perfect chance to like redeem ourselves a little bit."
I do
and I'm like,
think-
that's not
yeah.
fair on the film or the people who made it at all, because you're not crediting their work.
no, 100%. Like I
Like-
think the Oscars have always been a bit like touchy in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, in every sense of it, they're like they're sexist, they're racist.
Oh
like,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
what are they at this point? Like but again, I've seen people saying, "Oh, well, the Oscars."
White.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I see people saying like, "Oh, well, no one cares about the Oscars anymore," and I'm like, but the thing is, they do. They're still
Yeah.
the most prestigious award in the film industry. Like, regardless of what you personally think of them, there does need to be a change.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
They are making a bit of a change, but it feels forced. It doesn't feel like, oh, hey, we're acknowledging you because you're a good director, like regardless of race, regardless of sexuality, whatever that. It feels like they're going, oh, we have to acknowledge you because
Yeah.
you're,
Yeah.
a different race. And that's the more messed up part, Like, don't force yourself. Like, if you're racist, you're racist. You need to sort that out. You know what I mean?
What was
Yeah.
that other film that was like up there with it? It was like Green Book or something.
Green Book, yeah. That
I
was
had no idea that film existed. I've not seen it.
it's a fantastic film, in my opinion. Do you hear about the controversy with it?
No, I saw that interview with Spike Lee where he was at the
Mhm.
end like, "Oh, are you
No,
British? It's not my
it's not
cup
my
of
cup of
tea."
tea.
And I was
That
like,
was
"Oh,
great.
that's brilliant," but I've no idea what you're on about.
Right,
Like,
so-
I didn't get it.
I didn't get it, so I went to see the film. I thought it was fantastic,
Yeah.
and I actually put it forward. I was like, that should be Best Picture, and then it did win Best Picture. I was
Yeah.
like, cool beans. This has become more of an Oscar podcast. Now. I
Yeah,
just realized.
But like that's another thing that bothers me is that I did not hear about it, and I was like,
yeah,
surely this film who that gets like Best Picture should be pushed more into the limelight
Yeah.
rather than like superhero
See,
films. and
it's
stuff.
weird
Yeah.
because
I
I
don't want anything. Like, why aren't I seeing these like more artistic
Yeah.
pieces
Yeah.
in the media?
it's weird because I knew a lot about, you know, like I saw it from the get go type of thing. I've
Yeah.
seen a few people though saying that they had no idea what it was, which I thought was strange because it's always been on my radar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a really good film. I thought it was like great acting, great film overall.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I saw that a lot of people were annoyed it won Best Picture, so I was like, okay, why? And I've looked into it. I'm still not 100% why. Apparently, it's something to do with one of the, I say characters. It is based on a true story, so it's to do with their family. Apparently, they were like mistreated or something like that. I haven't fully looked into it yet, so I'm not gonna like pretend to know my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But Spike Lee walked out when it won Best Picture. He tried
Really?
to, and yeah. So he got up and he tried to leave, but they don't let anyone leave in the auditorium.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, from what I've looked into, I don't know how true this is, but it's because it was a white director who won for Best Picture, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the
okay.
guy who directed it was white, which for me, I don't think it's that. I get the feel. I'm like, surely not, because the film itself is from a white person's point of view.
Yeah.
So I feel like the film, like a lot of people saying the film is racist, but I'm like, not.
When's it set?
So it's
That's
in
another
the,
thing you have to consider as well.
I think it's
really.
in the 60s.
Oh, of course it's going to be
Yeah,
a little
that's
bit
what I'm-
racist
so-
then.
well,
It's,
no, but
it's
the-
got to be historically accurate.
Yeah.
People were really racist.
So the
then.
whole premise
still
of
are.
the film,
Yeah.
the whole premise of the film is racism. It's basically he gets hired to be a driver for a black musician in the 60s,
Right. Okay.
and he drives him, and they're going on a tour of the Deep South. So the film basically is a road trip from them going to where he's performing in these like big auditoriums and like getting put in nice hotels, and you gradually see like the sort of like the downgrade. The
Yeah.
further
Yeah.
south they go, the more racist they are, and eventually he's like sleeping in like motels, and they're telling him like he can't eat with them and stuff like that because he's black.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, the film is racist in that sense, but that's the point. The point is to make you
That's
feel like
history.
that's awful. And it's
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's awful, yeah, and it's terrible, but that's the point. And the main character at the start is like slightly racist himself,
Mm-hmm.
but then he actually, you know, obviously they develop a bond, they develop a friendship,
Yeah.
and he starts to realize how like messed up that is. Do you know what I mean? That he based all his like
Views and opinions on.
on his color. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So like, I feel like I'd need to do more research on it because
Yeah.
right now I can't understand. Again, if you're looking at it from the point of view of it is racist but that's the subject matter.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't call Black Klansman racist because
You wouldn't
again,
call Black Panther racist.
no, because that's the subject matter. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the subject matter is the fact that, you know, people are racist, but racism still exists. Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah,
but
definitely.
a lot more so in the 60s and 70s, which is when Black Klansman and Green Book are
a set.
set. Yeah. So that's my Oscar rant done for the day anyway. So
That was long, wasn't it?
I know. I just realized that. I was like, whoa,
Wow.
may as well do this an Oscar podcast.
No, yeah, but it's a fair point you're making though. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
mm.
Callum, you still alive? You haven't said anything in about
Absolutely.
40
Granddad's
minutes.
gone
Yeah,
for a
Granddad's
snooze.
gone for a
Well.
snooze. Like,
Gotta hide the fact that I haven't seen the majority of the films you're talking about.
okay, well,
Although-
you know.
And he's a film student.
And he's a film student, ladies
Listen,
and
right.
gentlemen.
Hey, I managed to chat about these, and I haven't seen half of them.
Yeah.
alright.
Mainly because I hadn't heard.
Well,
of
all
one
right.
of
What's
them,
what's
like-
what's your pick for 2018?
All
then?
right, we'll turn this around on me.
Yeah,
All right.
we're targeting you.
Sorry,
now.
after all your artsy, classy film talk,
AC-130 inbound.
I'll come in here with my pick, which is Halloween.
Oh, no.
So there we go.
That's your film of the year.
Yeah, genuinely, my film of the year is Halloween 2018, sequel to Halloween.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, when you say Halloween.
Yeah,
what-
I'm
what
referring
kind
to
of
the
spec?
sequel that's also called Halloween, which I'm still annoyed about that title, but I get why they did it.
It's like not marketing, but like you know what I mean. Like it's to bring
to
in
get
new
people
fans
in
and all
who-
that. Yeah.
You know,
It's the title you're gonna remember, isn't it? No,
Yeah.
like, Halloween, always back.
Always back.
that should have been the title.
Oh, he's
Halloween, he's back. I would love that.
So why is it your film of the year then, Callum?
All right. Part of this is due to the fact that there were a lot of good films last year, but I don't know. I think compared
He
to
didn't watch
27,
He just didn't watch
He
any
didn't
of
watch
them.
anything.
He slept through the whole year,
20
and then he woke up for Halloween.
He's
20
been watching Bionicles 3 on DVD.
Whoa.
Bionicle 3 is all right.
I have that on disc.
I've got all three of them.
Screening soon, yeah.
Oh man,
Right,
I
we-
got a story about Bionicle, but we'll discuss that in a
Alright,
future
good.
podcast.
I don't want to let on how much I
On the
actually know about
Bionicle podcast.
Bionicle. I'll do a Bionicle podcast.
I will not do a
Yeah.
Bionicle podcast.
I will.
I know more about the lore of Bionicle than I'll ever admit to
Oh,
either
God.
of you.
You've just admitted it. This is forever recorded. This is going to be online.
This is going to be online.
forever.
You know that once it's online, it's there forever.
It's
and
there forever.
Yeah,
not,
well,
it's no longer our
but
property.
Bionicle was cool, all right. Forget the memes; it was unironically great. But
Oh,
anyway,
yeah,
anyway,
definitely.
we're not talking about Bionicle.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do we
so,
get to
I don't know. So
back to Halloween?
yeah.
Let's go.
So Halloween, like honestly, to be honest, like if I was going through my films of the year, I've only really got three, and it's Halloween, Avengers: Infinity War, which. Like you guys, I liked it, but I'm just not that big into the superhero films. I enjoyed
Fair
it.
enough. No, I get
It was
that.
fine. It was fun.
Yeah.
Fun movie. And then other one, Mission Impossible Fallout. Again, fun movie. I like those movies. I'm glad they still make movies like that, but I don't have too many overriding thoughts on it.
It for me, right? I haven't seen that film yet, and I love Mission Impossible.
It is well worth seeing, I
Yeah.
would say.
I'm gonna.
I'm very on and off with Mission Impossible.
I love
I'll
it.
watch
The
one,
films are
then
very
I'll
on
see the
and
next
off,
two,
you
and then
know.
I'll see the next one, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like there is no continuity really.
No. What
And I'm
was
like,
this?
oh,
like
it's
the
fine that
sixth
I've
one?
missed a few.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fallout
Yeah.
is the sixth one.
I love them.
Yeah.
I think they gradually get better somehow, which is
yeah,
weird.
surprisingly,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm never
Keep 'em
disappointed
coming,
or
man.
anything, but I feel like I don't go in with much expectations
Fair
anyway.
enough.
But like,
But
Yeah.
yeah, so Halloween, I would say it's probably the best slasher film in years. One of the best horror films I've seen in a long time. I mean, it feels very much
yeah, but what
Like-
about Happy Death Day?
absolutely not. It feels very much like an 80s slasher film. I mean, it's rooted in that, deliberately
Yeah.
so. But it's just, I remember me and my friends went to see it, and the way it starts off, it's almost trying to lull you into a false sense of security. I feel it begins like the most generic slasher film, generic horror film, cold open, it's very dull, generic music, you're like, oh, what's going on? And then, without revealing too much, like they're in an asylum, they see Michael Myers, and then like the music starts building, people start yelling, and then it basically just smash cuts to an 80s style Halloween logo and starts blaring the classic theme song, and everyone in the theater was just like, whoa, okay,
That's
we're
pretty
in.
sick.
And it's definitely the best sequel by far. It's handled very well.
Whoa.
Whoa. Ever.
Hang on. Are we
Whoa.
talking
Sorry,
best
sorry,
Halloween sequel?
Best Halloween sequel.
Okay.
It's not the best sequel
Wow.
ever made.
I was gonna say. I
Sorry,
was like,
no.
you were way
No,
too calm
I-
dropping that.
I'm not
bombshell
implying
on
that
us.
Halloween
Right, yeah, see you next
2018
week, boys.
is better than Godfather Part 2. Matt's actually walked out.
Imagine.
It was a joke. Yeah,
And he's got.
he's
gone.
actually
And he's
leaving.
gone.
That's the height of professionalism. Right. Anyway, so yeah, easily best Halloween sequel. Jamie Lee Curtis back as Laurie Strode gives a fantastic performance.
Yeah.
She really helps having her back in it. Michael Myers is made scary again, as he should be. He is the Shape, as
Yeah.
he was in the original. A lot more gore, but it works. The effects itself are good.
Yeah,
so I was
like-
okay with it.
So it's not like gore for gore's sake, or is it?
Well, it kind of is, but it doesn't feel as over the top as, say, the Rob Zombie Halloween remakes,
Oh,
which
that's
just
okay,
go
then.
for ridiculousness.
Yeah, because
that Rob Zombie Halloween movie?
oh no.
Yeah,
Here we go.
the
He's
bad
back.
ones.
No, like
Many
see,
of them are bad.
One of the things I love about the original is how like so subtle it is
It's
with
very
like
subtle.
the deaths.
Yeah.
Deaths.
Deaths.
But
Yeah. So yeah, there's elements of that, and then I mean, loads of people talk about there's this great one take, which is just following Michael Myers through a neighborhood and into
Oh,
a
I've
house.
heard about that. Yeah.
Probably the best shot in that entire series.
Nice.
And then the musical cues as well, because it's got the classic Halloween theme song you can expect, but it's got cues from the original, sounds from the original,
yeah.
all the different tracks as well as new ones. It reminds me of kind of an odd comparison, but Shin Godzilla, the 2016
Wow, that,
Japanese
I
Godzilla.
think you might be the first person on planet
Oh,
Earth to draw that comparison.
Only in
my
the
friend.
sense that, like, all of the Godzilla sequels, like, yeah, they might use the Godzilla theme song, but Shin Godzilla used, like, some tracks from the first one in 54 that haven't been heard since that first one. This one does the same thing.
Okay, yeah.
with,
no, I
like,
get you.
using, every kind of song from that original that you want to hear is in here. So, yeah, fantastic. Well worth seeing.
Cool. Yeah, I missed it purely by accident. I kept
It's a
like
shame.
I kept delaying. I was like, yeah, I'll go next week, man. Yeah, I'll go next week. And then I turned around and like I was walking through town the other day, and I was like, it's on Blu-ray.
yeah.
now.
I mean, it was really
I missed it.
successful. I mean, like critically, it was decently well received, but I think it's the highest-grossing film in the franchise and one of the highest-grossing slasher films of all time, if not the highest.
That's pretty.
That's
Sick.
And,
quite impressive.
yeah.
Like, really. Like,
They've confirmed a sequel, which don't know how I feel about that. I'm
whoa,
happy
a
just
sequel to the greatest sequel ever. Wow.
Will it surpass the greatest sequel of all time?
with the same title as the original. Yeah, I don't know what they
Imagine
call
they
it.
call it Halloween 2. How
That's
confusing
just
would that be?
they. I try not to think about that. I'd be because I won't give it away,
Halloween 2.
but it's
2.
almost like there are
2 plus 2 is 4.
there were a
Ooh.
few threads in the end of the film that imply potentially a sequel in a number of ways, but it's left
Yeah,
in
but
such
when
a
we're
way.
getting a Jason Voorhees like crossover,
I'd be okay with that.
that'd be so good.
But yeah, like they leave in such a way where you can leave the film as that without a sequel, but well, there's gonna be
Yeah,
one now.
probably. Yeah.
But
Money.
yeah,
Money
like,
talks. You know?
Crossovers, why not? I mean, I unironically love Freddy vs. Jason. You know,
Yeah.
that's a great movie.
Imagine Freddy versus Jason versus Mike versus.
I swear that
But
was
it's actually just Mike
rumored.
Myers, the
Yeah.
actor.
But it's actually
Oh my God.
Michael Jordan, and it's actually Space Jam 2.
Ooh.
Great.
Wow.
Um,
Get the writers in you now.
they did do
Spitting gold. Yeah.
it was a comic series, but they did Freddy versus Jason versus Ash.
I
from
did
Evil
see
Dead.
that. That's
Imagine if
really
they had
cool.
made
Throw him in
that
Ash
as a film.
Ketchum for a second then.
No,
That's
sorry.
something
No,
I
Ash
want to
Ketchum.
discuss in a
Throws a
minute.
Pokeball at him. Like, what kind of Pokemon are you? I'm your nightmare.
Jesus.
Should
So yeah,
write this
that's
script gold, yeah, man.
that's my
Script
one. There you go. That's my
One
one
film
film of the
you watched.
year. Look, if it was 2017, I could name you 10 of them, yeah, but it's
well,
not.
it's not.
So
It's not.
you know,
Well, no, never know. Maybe next year when we look back on 2019, Callum will go, "Hey,
or
I actually watched films
Yeah.
this year."
Have you
or
noticed
maybe
the-
when we predict what we're looking forward to in 2019.
Oh, look at him
Oh,
spoiling,
yeah.
spoiling next week's
There'll be
podcast.
a few good ideas in there for what's coming
okay,
out. Yeah.
okay.
Have you
Yeah.
noticed how last year's Pokemon film is now on Netflix?
Which was that?
No.
The
I
Power
refuse
of
to.
Us?
The I Choose You one.
Oh, Pokemon.
Oh,
I thought that was
God.
2017. Oh,
No, I swear it was
No.
last
Are
year.
you
No,
sure?
no,
It
it
was
is.
last
No,
year,
it was.
surely.
It was 2 years ago, I think, man.
yeah, because it was 2017. I think
Are
the
you sure?
the most recent one was
Yep.
The Power of Us,
Yeah.
which is like, so I guess it's kind of inspired by The Power of One. I don't know if it's a remake. I don't keep up. I watched.
Which one was the
Pokemon-
Power of One?
That was the second one with Lugia, Pokemon 2000.
Oh no, yeah, Lugia's the legendary
must
in
be,
this
yeah.
new one. No, yeah, are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
2017 was I Choose You. Unless did it come out internationally? Maybe in
I'm not
2018.
sure. Like, I'm pretty sure I watched it in like.
Either way,
Around
it's
this
trash
time
that
last
should
year?
be in the bin.
I really
Oh, I
disliked
hated it. Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen the bit where Pikachu starts talking to Ash,
oh.
and I was like, "Yep, no
the
need."
trailers
They
like
gave it a girl's voice, and I was like, "Nah, Pikachu's been a boy all this time, and
Yeah.
you've done that."
The-
No, yeah, it is 2017.
yeah.
Pikachu just shouldn't have a voice,
Oh,
unless it's Ryan
July.
Reynolds. Am I right, guys?
Ooh.
Oh boy. Yeah,
That's gonna be a
the
great
trailers
movie.
for I Choose You were really like advertising it as if it's going to be a redo of the beginning of the series, but it's more like 5 minutes of that and then an hour of just some random crap.
I
generic
haven't
Pokemon
watched
film.
a Pokemon film since I was about 8 when they started doing.
Until
You know,
this
like-
year, though,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you
When
watched
watched
the
Detective
inevitable
Pikachu,
best
yeah.
film of the year.
So no, so my experience with them is like the first 3 are great film. I unironically good animated films.
I enjoy
Yeah.
them.
Anyway, and then after that point, they were just like, so I think the right, the left. Am I right in
Actually,
saying
no,
that?
I'd argue the
Yeah.
fourth one was quite good as well.
Yeah,
The
so
I'm
Entei
gonna
film,
have
right?
to. No, that's the third one.
the writer of
no,
Entei's
no. The Celebi one.
was Suicune.
The Celebi.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
That,
Suicune.
for
I
me-
thought that was amazing. That
See,
was,
that
was-
for me
thought it
is the
was
slow
okay.
decline because
I
don't
saw
get me wrong.
that before I saw 3
That
though,
was-
and I loved it.
I'm still trying to work out because like you were saying, the right or left after
Yeah.
the third one, that is on the Japanese side of things. But those movies have been changed in so many ways in the English adaptations. Like Forever, Pokemon, like you were saying,
Yeah.
they requested more animated sequences from Japan for the dub to better explain the connection between Sammy and Professor Oak in case kids
Yeah.
didn't get it. And other things I don't even get, like the 5th movie in the dub has a blue filter over the entire film.
Yeah.
I don't know why. So I don't know. Those movies are all over the place.
I just realized that we've gone off on a tangent again about Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, but I'm gonna bring up Pokemon again in a minute anyway.
Oh,
We
great.
talk about
Oh, okay.
games anyway.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
you want to
wow.
you want to go on to games now? Then,
yeah,
or?
let's go for it. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
Oh,
What did
no.
you think of that? No,
I-
but what
what
did
did
you
I
genuinely
think
think
about
about
it?
it though?
I
Like-
didn't play them. I completely understand why they've done it. I think from a marketing perspective, it's brilliant, great business decision. Getting those people who are playing Pokemon Go. Personally, I was just not that interested in it, and I don't own a Switch yet, so
Yeah.
I'll wait for the Gen 8 games, which were revealed about 2 hours
2
ago.
hours ago, and mind you, I'm not pleased.
But
we'll-
we'll get. Yeah,
we'll
well,
get
we,
there.
well, that can be next week's because.
Well, yeah,
2019,
exactly, yeah.
isn't
But
it?
we're on a game before now. But like,
Like, no, with me, it's kind of like I again, like Callum said, I understand why they did it. I feel like the people complaining about it
yeah,
are idiots.
Yeah,
And
it's-
yeah.
if you complained about it, I do apologize. to anyone.
overblown.
no, yeah,
like-
but like,
yeah.
why wouldn't you bring out such a
No, but like,
iconic?
so the
like,
reason
original
people were
game, though?
complaining, they were like, "Oh my god, Nintendo promised us Gen 8,
It's like,
and now
yeah.
we've got Let's Go Pikachu," and I'm like,
Gen 8 is still
Yeah.
coming. They literally said as
Yeah.
much.
they were like, if
They
you
were
actually
complaining
read it,
that they didn't get Gen 4 in Gen 7.
yeah,
And I was like, yeah, but why do that when we know there's a new gen coming out this year?
it's like
You might as well wait for it
Yeah.
to come out the year after.
so like
Exactly.
the game. I haven't played the game. I've heard it's decent. I probably will get it
I
eventually.
have played the game,
Right.
right? I got Eevee.
Yeah.
So like
Mhm.
me and my mate we bought the game together on like,
Yeah.
his Switch, so you can have multiple profiles on Switch.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So you can play as many save files as you want.
That's pretty cool.
And I do have a few issues with it, and it's something quite a few people have in common with me, is that I don't like the choice of having an Eevee or a Pikachu. I'm like, I don't care for either
Yeah.
of these. These
Okay.
are like the ones that are hyped up in the media, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't
Yeah.
care for that. I like
Mm.
picking out the other ones. You can catch any starter you like in the wild, or you get them for owning other Pokemon. I'm like, I'd rather just have one and then build a team around
Yeah.
it, rather
Yeah.
than have access to all three. Then knowing I have a starter, and then I'm limited to 2 others, and I'm like,
Mhm.
that's not the whole point of Pokemon, though, is it?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's-
experimenting.
Yeah. I like I said, if that was the game they promised for Switch,
Yeah.
understandably, I can understand why people were annoyed.
Mhm.
But they made it abundantly clear
Yeah.
that the new Pokemon game was still coming. This was like a halfway thing just
Yeah,
to keep
absolutely.
tide you over. So in that sense, I'm like, I got no problem with the game. I
Oh,
will
yeah,
probably play it
definitely.
eventually, but it's just like I couldn't understand why people were genuinely angry. Like, oh my god, they lied to us, and I'm like, they really
They
didn't.
didn't. But
You should have
and
just
if
read
anything,
things.
they've given us more.
Yeah, exactly.
They've made Pokemon Go more relevant again,
yeah,
even if it has died out a bit again recently. Like,
yeah.
they're nearly on like Gen 5 now.
Something like
I've
that.
literally I never really got into the Pokemon Go fad
Neither
because
did I. I used
it,
to just sit on the bus.
it landed for me at a really awkward time where my phone was like borderline broke
Yeah.
and I could barely get 4G. Like the battery would die so quickly, and I went to America the kind of week it was really hyped. I think
Yeah.
I was there in America for 2 weeks, so obviously I couldn't catch things in the wild because I didn't have Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So like, by the time I got home, I was like, "Hey guys, I got a new phone and everything." And I was like, "Hey guys, I'm ready to play some Pokemon Go," and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we're bored of that now." So I was kind of like, So
Yeah.
I still play it now and again,
Mhm.
but it's something I kind of find on my phone, and I'm like, "Oh shit, I forgot I downloaded that.
Yeah.
Let's check
Yeah.
that out." You know?
For me, it's that one app that I'll always have.
Yeah, but
And
I
I'll
never use.
choose to go on it. But
No.
I'm like, oh, yeah, but what if I want to go on it later?
Yeah,
And I don't for like 3 months.
Yeah.
yeah.
When they bring out new stuff in it, it's kind of fun to like be like, oh, there it is, and catch it, and then like
Yeah,
I get bored of it again. I'm like, oh, I've seen like 30 of you now.
Yeah.
yeah. No, I don't think. I think it's
Speaking
dead
of the catching, like that's the one thing I absolutely despised about Let's Go
yeah,
Mhm.
is that you can't battle wild Pokemon at all.
Yeah.
It's just all catching, and that's how you level up. And I'm like, yeah, but that's just too easy
yeah,
and very tedious and quite annoying.
yeah. I've heard that.
Catching shinies are way easier.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Did
I'd imagine.
I trained in Viridian Forest for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Shiny Caterpie came up in like no time
nice.
Mm.
on my 7th random encounter.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm like, oh,
Great.
cool.
Beans, like,
I
yeah.
have that now. I'm not going to use it. It's just there.
It's just there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like way easier.
Yeah. I mean, for me, if I had to choose a definitive kind of game of 2018,
Mhm.
without question, for me, it's God of War.
Yeah.
I-
Okay, fair
I
enough,
think
yeah.
like that game for me is just a masterpiece.
Yeah.
I will fight anyone who says that game is like not worth its weight in gold. I think that like
Yeah.
everything about it, from again going to the idea of Halloween, of like, I mean, God of War, is it God of War 4? Is it God of War the reboot?
Yeah.
It's a bit of both. I don't really necessarily agree with the title, because they fully knew that it was going to be a series.
Yeah.
They've already said they're going to start working on the sequel.
Mhm.
So I'm like, sits with Halloween and like, what are you going to call it? You can't
Yeah.
call it God of War 2. Well, you can, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's going to just confuse people. But no, everything about that game. Graphics, gorgeous. Story was amazing. The gameplay, like the physics for the axe, just like me and Callum were talking earlier about like games getting repetitive. Like how
Yeah.
do you kind of stop a game from becoming boring through repetition? I mean, God of War does that for me, because it's just so satisfying using the axe. You know, if you're up close, just like beating the shit out of something with a, or you can just throw it, and it genuinely has a weight to it. It doesn't feel like you're throwing like a stick or
Yeah.
you're throwing a big hammer. It feels like what you're throwing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, yeah, I get that.
And just like, I was really worried about that game, because when it was first revealed, everyone was like, "Oh wait, it's The Last of Us God of War edition,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "Give it a chance, man." But the camera was like,
Why would that be a bad thing? Though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think people
think-
kind of fall into this idea that everything these days has to be a walking simulator, you
Yeah.
know, to
Well,
be edgy and cool.
There
you
was
know?
that. I think it was also the aspect of, like, the first season of The Walking Dead. You have the, oh, you're looking after a young child, because that's going to
Yeah.
make you emotional.
Yeah,
And
no,
one of the devs, he said something like, "Oh, I've had a kid now, and it's really made me think." It's like,
Yeah.
oh, is it? Like, really?
yeah,
No.
I know, no, I know what you mean. Like, it seems, yeah, it's like it's like it's like Oscar bait for games. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically it is.
do you have a portion of the game where you're just walking around? Tick. Do you have a child that you have to look after? Tick. Will the child get in trouble during this game? Tick. Will you be against having the child, but then soon learn to grow and love the child? Tick. Oh, well, you know, you've won Game of the Year, man. There's nothing we
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
regardless of how bad or good you. And it's like, I don't agree with that, because people like I know we'll get to that another time, but I know how Callum feels about Last of Us. But for me,
I don't hate it before
No.
anyone listening gets
yeah,
annoyed
yeah.
and jumps to conclusions.
No, he doesn't hate it, but like we've discussed it before.
Absolutely
Yeah.
despises
Yeah.
it. That's
That's
how
a
he
lie.
But
feels.
send your hate to callum.hop. I'm joking. So like, I think Last of Us gets, like, you either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the people who hate
Marmite.
it, yeah, it's literally the Marmite of games. People who hate it probably haven't played it, in my opinion.
Okay.
They just get annoyed that it's so hyped and be like,
Yeah.
it's shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, even gameplay wise, the game's great. The game
Mm.
isn't, like, a lot of people argue that, oh, well, why not just make a film if you're going to be boring and not include any gameplay? And I'm like, yeah, but there is gameplay. You know, there's a massive shootout portion of the game,
Yeah.
you know, which you are completely controlling that. And yeah, there's some bits where you're just walking around, but they're nice. You get to walk around at your own pace. You get to explore. Like, there's one part in The Last of Us I remember where you're in like an underground, like, I don't know what you'd call it. Like, I suppose like a safe place, like a,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
a hideout, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know, like a community.
Mhm.
The community's gone, but you can literally just go around and find notes. And there was like a story they'd basically written about this community. I think it was like Isha was the character of this
Yeah.
story.
Mhm.
And like, you don't see this character, you don't meet up with them later. They're not relevant to the story at all. But if you just go around exploring and picking up these notes, I remember people going on for days about how brilliantly written, how much they felt for that story, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, same thing for God of War. Like, the side quests, everything about the world just felt alive. And yeah, it plays out like a film, and that's kind of like the norm with games these days, you know. But it's not bad. You know,
No.
it's I prefer it. I'd rather that to like mindless multiplayer shit like Fortnite or, you know,
That
Black
Apex
Ops 4.
crap that's come
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
like I haven't played Apex, so I can't comment on it. But I'm just like,
Oh no, I've had a go.
yeah,
It's just Fortnite.
that's what I
It's
like.
just Fortnite.
Battle Royale was great when it
For-
came out.
Fortnite, full on tried suing Apex for copying them, and I'm like, you copied PUBG, who copied H1Z1, who
Who copied Minecraft,
Minecraft,
Hunger Games,
who
yeah.
then
Who
copied,
copied
Battle
Who
Royale.
copied Hunger Games, who then copied Battle Royale. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's just like
Wow.
what?
you can't. And plus it's like you can't trademark an idea.
Yeah,
you,
no, yeah.
you can trademark Like
Like,
if
it's
they
like music, like
if they literally called it Fortnite but with a GH instead of just a T,
yeah,
and then they literally just did different like colored characters to the ones they have, by all means sue to your heart's content,
yeah,
because that's
that-
borderline.
That is borderline the same game.
But like, you can't like a first-person shooter. If anything, it's copying more like Black Ops 4,
Yeah,
because it's the same devs. Well, it's not the same. It's the former devs
Yeah.
of Call of Duty, but yeah, battle royale is just a stale genre, and that's what I mean. Like, it goes back to, I don't know if I can't remember, someone from EA, the infamous quote. You've probably heard it, where they were like, "Oh yeah, single player games are dead. No one wants single player games anymore."
Yeah.
And then that same year, I think that was last year when
I
like
think so. Yeah.
yeah, because Red
Mm.
Dead came out, God of War
War,
came out,
Yeah.
and then everyone's just kind of like, yeah, single player games are dead. Am I right?
Yeah.
And then EA's like borderline. Well, they're not going bankrupt thanks to FIFA, but
Yeah.
they're not doing too great.
I must admit, I never finished God of War. I did play it.
Yeah.
I was quite taken by. Oddly enough, it had quite interesting camera angles and
Yeah.
shots, and a bit like in the cutscenes, like when it starts in the transition from that title screen to gameplay, the way the camera moves. So
I thought
that's
that was
quite
fantastic.
good.
Yeah.
It's got a certain cinematic quality to it. But I couldn't get on with taking care of a kid.
Fair enough.
An interesting
main
thing
issue.
about the EA thing I just remembered is that in FIFA, which is probably their best selling game, like you said,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
they implemented a single player story mode because the game was dying,
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
and then they're claiming that single player games are dead.
Yeah.
How does that work?
It's we're gonna need to do a separate podcast
And
for EA because
and then generally,
An
like,
EA podcast.
and the stories they came up with, they were shit. They
Yeah.
literally just took the real life story of an actual bloke,
Yeah.
and they've made it into sequels in each FIFA that's coming out now. And I'm
Yeah.
like, the story's gonna last like 10 years. They're gonna somehow like drain this out
yeah.
and like suck as much shit they can get. Like, they're gonna take so much money.
Yeah,
by
Yeah.
I'm
they're
not
like,
gonna
"Oh,
get
yeah,
into EA.
live a year of this guy's life in FIFA 16, and then another one in FIFA 17, and then it's gonna keep going.
Yeah.
A footballer can play until the age of 34 without like getting too physically like drained.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's like nearly from the age of 16. That's like nearly.
I feel
20
like
years.
I won't get into EA just purely because
Oh no, like
I hate them with such a passion that it burns my soul. But they're to blame for the kind of microtransactions.
yeah.
And I'll go into it another day. But I hate them so much. They're probably the worst company out there right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, in terms of games and stuff.
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh,
They're
is
not,
it not
the worst company in the world.
Oh god, no.
I was gonna say.
yeah, I mean, look at global warming, guys. It's mid-February and it's like 16 degrees outside. Like,
Yeah.
literally, I'm looking out the window right
Yeah.
now.
This could be like the
This is-
pre-apocalypse
Yeah.
podcast.
Well,
right
look,
here,
look.
oh,
The world's
yeah.
gonna, we're all fucked, so you may as well enjoy this weather.
Yeah,
you
fair
know.
point. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, this is horrific. It should not
Yeah.
be this warm in February.
yeah, like literally
This is bad.
21 degrees in Porthmadog in North Wales.
That's bad.
That's
concerning.
warmer than the UK average in the summer.
Yikes.
Yeah,
well,
we're,
that is terrifying. It's February.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
all fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been nice. Well, but before we go
It's
down,
been nice.
Callum, what was your game of the year?
Mine was Red Dead Redemption 2.
I thought it might be.
Yeah, I mean, I think
No
in
one
terms of,
mentioned Spider-Man, by the way.
I actually
get
haven't
to that.
played it yet.
Mm.
To be honest, I should though.
Oh, it's
Um,
fantastic. Yeah, but
So yeah, Red Dead 2. I mean, I mentioned this slightly with God of War, but I think Red Dead has sort of improved cinematic quality in games. The way it's presented, the cutscenes, the look of it.
yeah,
It's beautiful. I mean, there was what was it? New York Times did an article about how like the best sort of like film of this year is Red Dead Redemption 2, and they
Yeah.
compare it to The
That's crazy,
Godfather
yeah.
and The
Yeah, yeah.
Sopranos. Gameplay itself is fantastic. I took slight issue with the implementation of some of the survival elements. They weren't done badly. I just perhaps could have done without them.
yeah,
But the characterization is incredible.
Yeah.
I love how it handles itself as a prequel. I mean, you talked about that before
yeah.
when we were discussing prequels. I think the pacing is a bit off at times. I think
Yeah.
Chapter 5 has been a
Oh,
problem for everyone.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
And I guess my main issues are all to do with massive spoilers I can't get into, but like without giving too much away, there is a point where the game tackles an issue that games don't usually get into, and I think it was ambitious that they tried to do it, but I think the pacing of the mission structure
Yeah.
at times sabotages that big
Yeah,
emotional
I know
thing.
exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know. But overall, it is a absolutely fantastic game. I think it's sort of raised the bar for Rockstar.
Yeah.
Yeah, great game.
Like, for me, I mean, going back to kind of not Rockstar, Red Dead 2 versus God of War type thing. Red Dead 2, for me, is legit, like, just underneath God of War
Yeah.
by, like, a minimal amount type
Yeah.
of thing. The only reason it sits below God of War for me is, like you said, the pacing. It starts off great. Like,
See,
as
I
in,
wasn't a big fan of the prologue, and I know most people were.
Yeah, no, what, you weren't or were?
I was not. The snow bit.
See, a general consensus. I'm the opposite. See, I thought that nobody liked it because the amount of people that have traded, because like I work in games, so
Yeah.
within like the first 2 weeks, the amount of people trading it back in, being like, couldn't get to grips with it, and I was like, oh, what part did you get to? And they were like, well, I don't know, I was in some snow part, and I was like, so you played the tutorial?
Oh, okay. That's not really
and
giving
went
the game
home.
a fair
Yeah.
chance.
So I'm like, I get it. It was slow, but I don't mind slow pace.
Yeah.
It was more for me is that you set the pace for the game, and like I was in like, okay, Red Dead is a slow burner, you know. It's a more realistic take on like the cowboy genre and whatever. And I'm like, cool beans, I'm in for this ride, you know. And then it's chapter 5, am I right? The one I'm thinking of.
Yes, I believe so.
So I'm gonna put a spoiler disclosure here. If you haven't played it at this point, like, it's what, February now. The game's been out for a long time, so you know.
I mean, you can say Red Dead's been out for quite a while now as well.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean.
it's
So
been at least 4 months.
yeah, it came out in October. So
Yeah.
if you haven't
5
played it at this
even.
point, then I don't give a shit anymore. So
Yeah,
turn it off
like-
now.
Wow.
I'll give you a few
Spoiler
seconds.
warning, but
Leave if you must, but we're going to talk about the bit where you land on the island. Because, right, who wrote that part? Because I swear to God, they were not writing for the same game. That is like, it was really far-fetched in my opinion. Like, the fact that you somehow get on a boat, crash the boat, leave the boat, and it implies that Arthur's on his own and he's going to have to survive in the wilderness on his own. And then I'm like, oh, hey guys, we're all here. Hey, all the gang's here. We're all fine. Not a problem. Oh, yeah, we can get off this. And then, like, it turns into, like, Uncharted.
Yeah.
Which
yeah,
I love Uncharted, but I don't want to be running on, like, castles, shooting down, like, giant boats with cannons on them.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell is
So
this, man?
weird.
It was, like, completely...
I mean, if you wanted that, you'd play Assassin's Creed.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say
really,
it's
when
like
you
it's like
think about
Black
it.
Flag. That's
yeah,
what
it
it
is.
felt
Do you know
like.
what it, like? It's just so complete, and I respect them for trying something different because I
Yeah.
can safely say I have never played, like, would you call it a period piece? I don't know.
I suppose you could.
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah, like
Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like a game that is set in the past.
you can argue that anything set in the past is
A
a
period
period
piece.
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it's rooted in a Western styling,
Yeah.
and then it does a 180 for like an hour
Yeah.
or two to some pirate game. Almost.
Exactly. Like I respect them for going, hey, you know what, guys, let's mix it up. But in any other if that was GTA, I wouldn't have batted an eyelid because it's like
Yeah.
GTA in itself is like, yeah, it's a serious game, but there's some crazy moments in it.
Yeah.
But Red Dead was so grounded in reality to the point where you literally had to like eat and drink to keep your weight
Yeah.
and health up,
Yeah.
you know, and then to all of a sudden just be like, yeah, they're surviving on a desert island, like releasing slaves and fighting giant
Yeah.
ships with cannons on them.
We all know that cowboys don't release slaves.
Yeah, oof. But like, I was just kind of like, what is going on here, man? Like, it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know who wrote it, but no. So yeah, that was the point for me where I was kind of like, this should have just been deleted. Because then like I was like, well, where are they going to go from here? And it's like, yeah, we're going to go back to the Wild West now.
Yeah.
And everything's going to be conveniently like, okay, everyone just waited for,
Yeah. So bizarre.
you know, like everything from that point onwards was just kind of like far-fetched. And
Yeah.
I
But then,
can
like,
normally look the other
yeah.
way,
But
but it's like,
immediately though, when you get back after that island bit, like they've been waiting there this whole time, and as soon as you're back, the Pinkertons show up, and you immediately have to,
Exactly.
it's like they just the pacing is like
what have
what's
they been
going on?
doing
Yeah.
for like, and I get their way around it is like, oh yeah, well, what was it? It's like Bill like basically asks everyone where they are,
Yeah.
which is like, you know, I get that, you know, I get that that's
Yeah.
their way of, but even then, like everything just, I don't know, like the point I'm trying to make basically is that for a game that is so grounded in reality, it becomes too far fetched for
It
its own
takes you
good.
out of the experience.
It does, yeah. Like you're either serious or you're stupid. You know, you can mix with both. You know, that's not impossible. But Red Dead Redemption 2 did not imply to me at all in its first 5-6 hours that it was going to be any like a silly game.
Yeah.
You know, it was
Yeah.
like, you're going to take this seriously. It's going to be pretty heart wrenching.
Yeah.
Let's get to it. And then
Well-
it's like, and now we're on a pirate island.
But that's the
Way!
thing, like in that regard, it's not even played for laughs. It's meant
No.
to. You're meant to be like, this is
Yeah,
real stuff
that's
that's
what I
going
mean.
on. But you're just like, what's going on? Like, this is
It
ridiculous.
just, I don't know, and like they don't, like the way I thought it was gonna go was you wash up on the island and then that's where he kind of has the epiphany where he's like, you know, I'm a terrible person, this is what I deserve, you know,
Yeah.
and then somehow gets back.
Yeah.
But then I didn't expect that everyone, like, you got the whole gang there and
Yeah.
everyone's fine, everyone makes it off the island, nobody's hurt, nobody's like, no one has any, and they don't even like address the fact that somehow in the 1890s that a group of like cowboys managed to travel to, where was it? It was like Australia or something, wasn't it?
I don't think it was. I'm not sure if it was that
It was like,
far.
I don't know.
Was it somewhere in the Caribbean?
Yeah,
Might
it
be like
was.
the West Indies or something.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Which is still a fair bit that they've
Oh
travelled.
yeah.
Somehow have managed to travel all the way there, survive their boat going up in flames, land on a random hostile island, and then somehow still manage to escape and get back to exactly the point where they were going to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is like some superhero level shit, dude. You know, like, I don't know, just for that, like, for what they were going for, I was like, oh, just a misfire in my opinion,
Yeah.
you know. But no, a great game. But that for me is like, there was never a point in God of War for me where I was like, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Like everything about it, I just thought the story was done fantastic, you know. And like they didn't play all their hand, which I thought was nice. Like I mean, you can see it as sequel bait, but I see it more as like not literally, like they've set up a sequel, yeah, but they're not, like they could not do a sequel, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
The way they set it up is done in like a way that it's like, hey, we can do a sequel, but just in case we do or don't, we're not gonna literally like play our entire hand at once, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I mean, I think that's about it for games. And anything else anyone wanna bring up about 2018? Anything? Castlevania was good. I like
Yeah.
Oh
Castlevania.
yeah. Yeah.
Great
That
show.
was good show. I mean, I watched it this year, but
Yeah.
we'll see. It was last year. It's cool.
Yeah. I mean, on that same vein in terms of animated shows on Netflix, it came out at the start of 2018, but Devilman Crybaby, I think.
I've
was
been
the-
told to watch it. I haven't watched it yet.
I think it's the best
Yeah, I
show
need
I
to give that a
watched
go,
last
yeah.
year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, best new show that came out that year, I should
Yeah.
say. Yeah, it's only about 10 episodes long. They're about 20 minutes each. So, in case you know, it's an adaptation of Go and the Guy's Devilman manga from like the 70s, I think.
Oh, yeah,
set
okay,
in the
yeah.
modern day.
I've heard
It-
it's really disturbing.
Yes, I mean, I wouldn't usually say this, but yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. I mean, that show, not only is it one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen, and I mean that, I mean, that show will just beat you to your knees and leave you feeling like absolute shit when it ends.
Yeah.
It adapts
Sounds like somebody's uncle.
Oh.
so it adapts the entirety of the manga as well in only like 10
fair play,
episodes.
man.
Quite
Obviously,
cool.
it takes liberties,
Yeah.
but yeah, great show, great animation, really good music. It's quite a simple premise. Just this guy Akira Fudo gets possessed by a demon, becomes Devilman,
As you do,
fights
you know.
other demons with his mate Rio,
Huh.
and then it just from there it just spirals into oh no, this is happening.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
you
I
know.
need to check it out. I'm
yeah,
like,
very
mean-
very good show.
10 apps was pretty good.
On that anime
Oh, it must be.
films.
What from last year?
Yeah.
Well, it depends if you count Dragon
No,
Ball
no,
Super
we
Broly.
can't-
Broly. Well,
No,
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 yeah,
Technically,
you
it came
can't
out
do
in
it.
Japan.
Technically came
no,
out,
no,
though.
no.
It came
But
out
we
in
didn't watch it in Japan, so you can't talk about it till next year's podcast when we look back on this year. Ha!
Ah, come
Fine.
on.
Just quickly, film of the year.
Film of the year. We can, however, talk about Dragon Ball Super because that ended
That's
last
a good
year.
shout. Okay, no, yeah.
And Callum can't say anything.
Yeah,
And-
can we
right,
not?
spoilers for
right,
anyone who hasn't
no,
seen.
no.
Nah, I'm kidding. I'm
Okay,
kidding.
good.
Da, 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 da,
Nah,
da,
that's
da.
up there for me though. That finale was fantastic.
Yeah.
But, no, I'm gonna put a disclaimer on Super Broly, unfortunately,
No.
Fine.
because I'm excited to talk about it, but we watched it this year,
Right. Well,
very much so.
when we do most anticipated 2019, I'll say it was Broly, and I was right.
Yeah, well,
so.
you can totally do that. Which
about that?
I was right, yeah.
I was
Rub
right.
it in.
so yeah, I mean I suppose that's all we've got for today then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching episode 2, guys.
Yeah, thank you for
Is it 2 or 3 now?
listening or watching.
2.
2. Yeah, 3. No, it's
Oh yeah. Yeah.
to us it's
Yeah.
3,
To us, it's
but
3.
to the outside
Technically
world
2,
it's
yeah.
2.
The notorious Halloween
Halloween
show
Halloween
that'll
show.
come
A
out
lost episode.
next October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do a double bill where we just release it
Yeah.
randomly and then
Then we'll do
Yeah.
a bonus part where we do commentary on the first one
Yeah.
just to really sell it.
and
Don't know how that works with a podcast. We'll find a way.
episode 3 will
Just
be
a 3-hour review of a
2019,
1-hour podcast.
yeah.
Yeah, at this point, Callum's just chatting shit.
As I often do. You know.
Yeah, so see you it'll be next week now for the 2019, looking forward,
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about our picks for things. Yeah.
Damn
Awesome.
skimping. All right.
Wow. We
Wow.
can end. We can. I refuse
Well,
to end it.
We
on
still have to
those
do an
words.
outro. We gotta say something.
Yeah,
that
we can
wasn't
say
the actual end.
literally anything other than damn skimping.
Fine. All right, what
Um,
do you want to say?
Arrivederci.
Right, you're out.
Got
that's
my
it.
JoJo reference in.
We went the entire thing without
Literally, I've been like, yeah.
that. That's our outro.
You're-
Goodbye,
Bye,
JoJo.
I'm vetoing that right now. Okay. Is that it?
Goodbye. That's it. Yeah. Goodbye.
See ya.
Thank you. Goodbye.